Well, I think I've covered about 4 miles in the last 4 hours. But yeah, I miscalculated today. It got up to 104 at one point, so pretty hot. And the only shade I've had in the last mile or two has been from the sign. There's no shade anywhere else. Just getting in the Redway, and it is after 5 o'clock, which is the longest day I've had on this trip, second to last day, and the longest and most torturous as far as the heat goes. But I'll be at Richardson Grove pretty soon. I'm going to go on to Garberville, get something there for dinner, and then head to the campground. All right, well, it's almost 7 o'clock. Still haven't got to the campground, but I do have dinner in my panniers as I stopped in Garberville at the store. And I see a fox down there, it looks like. Or a coyote? No, it's a fox. Anyhow, I don't think you can... Yeah, you're not going to be able to see that. Anyhow, I'm almost to Richardson's Grove. It's been a long day. Well, good morning. Today is the last day of my ride. I've got about 25 miles to go to a store down Mendocino County called the Peg House, kind of a little local landmark there. My friend Larry's driving up to pick me up, and I'll be home tomorrow. Packed up my stuff for the last time. It's actually less than 20 miles to the Peg House, 8:30 in the morning. Larry's going to be there between 2 and 3. So I'm going to go slow, to say the least, plus I'll probably be waiting a bit, but that's fine. He's going out of his way to pick me up, so I don't mind waiting at all, believe me. Well, I feel like I kind of screwed up yesterday. Of all the parts of this whole route I've been on, I know this area and I know it gets really hot here in the summer. So why I thought I could pull off a 60-mile day with lots of hills, when there was a good chance of it being hot, and I should have checked the weather a little closer, but I played it as smart as I could and just stopped riding when it got hot. So nothing too smart about that, just kind of common sense. Anyhow, I'm off today. I just saw Dee Dee, who I ran into a ways back in right around after Crescent City. He's still chugging along, heading to Fort Bragg today. So good luck, Dee Dee. Breaks my heart to see the Eel River all green with all this algae. It's been a problem for years up here, and with the drought, it certainly hasn't got any better. But from what I understand, there's a significant increase in cows being produced and grazed upstream, and some of their runoff adds to the nitrates, as well as illegal marijuana grow with lots of fertilizer running off into creeks, into the river, as well as just global warming to a certain extent, where the river just hasn't had the flow in the last few years. Every time I've come up here in the summer, just very stagnant. Compared to 40 years ago when I was a child and the river was flowing pretty good, or closer to 50 years really. Of course, when you're a kid, you don't notice things like algae in the water anyhow. So maybe it's all in my mind, but I don't think so. Well, considerably cooler today. It's only 9:30, but it's still very pleasant. Nice cool morning. Forecast is only for upper 80s. So hopefully no triple digits sneak in on me. Of course, I'll be at the Peg House by then, waiting for my ride home. Well, the world famous Treehouse has fallen on hard times. I went here when I was just a child. I remember buying a little redwood pencil box. Took my kids here when they were growing up. I got all kinds of pictures of kids growing at different stages. And now the place is in shambles. No surprise, really. There's so much more interesting things in the world now than a tree that is just the facade for a building. But interesting to see it again after all these years. Well, only a couple of miles to my final destination on this trip. My tour will be over, so I'm just enjoying the last of the redwoods here. I really love being in the redwoods. It just gives you a good feeling. The air feels so clear. Trees have been around so long. It's very humbling. And it's also very familiar to me. Just growing up doing a lot of camping in the redwoods. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a trip down memory lane this morning. Going past a bunch of old souvenir stands and places I've visited in days of my youth. I have made it to the Peg House, my final destination, where the Peg House used to be just a little store an old man ran. Now it's got a grill and bar, or at least they serve beer and wine, and a big patio here. I'm surprised because I saw so many things shut down that I wasn't sure what the Peg House would be, but it seems to be thriving still. That's good to see. Alright, Larry should be here in 20 minutes. I got my bike taken apart, ready to put it in the back of his car. I guess this is it. I'm calling it a wrap. Here comes Larry to pick me up. Well, Larry, being such a kind individual, driven 4 hours up Highway 101 to pick me up. I'll be forever in debt and grateful. As it's still kind of warm today. It wasn't 104, but it still feels really hot.
Did you get an early start?
Air conditioning feels good. I did. Well,